Today, I actually ended up succeeding in getting a person on board agreeing to actually let me conduct ads for them. I first of all pitched them. Well, no, I asked them questions first. I pitched them and then I went on to the objection handling and all of the questions that they had, just answering them. And I did a pretty good job. Maybe not as lively and as energetic as I did yesterday because I was just completely dead in terms of energy today, but I gave it my best shot anyway, and I ended up getting them on board because they were a good fit, and I thought, why not? Why not try this out? Why not actually go through with running ads for them, just see how it goes for the first month, and if all goes well, amazing. If all doesn't go well, we can try again the next month and do even better. So I'll just say the feeling of it was, I don't know, it was okay. I was kind of happy, but it wasn't like everything in the world was something amazing from now on, because I know I still don't really have a client because I haven't gotten more word from him yet. I know he was just gonna do a job right after our call, but he was. It was just a case of where I you can't really have a client unless the person pays you. So they don't show investment. If they don't show investment first, then they're not really a client, technically speaking. So I wouldn't call myself somebody who has a client yet. I would just call myself someone who's managed to convince someone to become my client. But in the meantime, there's going to be a few day gap between now and when I'm actually going to be receiving profit and money from it, because I've done the sales part all right. I've gotten them. I've convinced them to book a meeting. I've convinced them to join what I'm offering them. But the next part is the service delivery itself, and that comes after the onboarding, which I'm doing right now. So what I've done already is send them a Google form asking them a couple of questions, and then I sent them this sort of or I'm going to send them this sort of contract that they're just going to sign, and it'll be all good then, because we're going to be kind of legally tied in together. So I can't really mess with them. They can't really mess with me. We've got to work together, and we've got to make this work, because if it doesn't, then time and money will just have been wasted, and I really, really don't want that to happen. Like, I actually want like a proper delivery process in place here where I can actually generate the person leads. And to be fair, I haven't studied Google Ads in. I've studied it in quite a bit of detail. I've written a 3,000 word guide on it, but I'm still going to get a coach to set up my ads for me anyway and show me how to do the actual process, so I can actually do it on a level that will give the person results. Because I talked to Beat Game in that sales call. I said I have great experience in this. I have a great amount of knowledge. I didn't say that I didn't have any clients, because uh, as I said before yesterday, that guy told me never say that, because it's just not a good idea. And I'm beginning to see the logic behind that now, because if I had told that guy today that I hadn't done any Google ads, had no experience, then I don't know if he would have actually went on board with it, because it's just an easy thing to sow doubt in the mind of your prospects. So don't do that. Otherwise, today was it felt rather horrible. It wasn't actually horrible, but it felt extremely horrible. It feels very horrible when you're calling up a ton of people every day, and you're just forcing yourself to talk again and again. You're forcing yourself to warm up really cold prospects who are asking where you're from and what you're doing, and it doesn't terrify me or anything, and I don't feel much emotion. I don't even feel emotion when somebody is rude to me anymore. I just kind of go with it, and it's completely normal then, and I don't mind it at all. But when someone is when I just keep getting people who are like, yeah, 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 have a good day, bye, slams the phone down, have a good day, bye, slams the phone down again and again, and you just kind of take people practically hanging up on you like dozens of times over. It's just physically and psychologically painful. That's the only thing. And I slept a full night of sleep last night, and I didn't wake up once during the night. Yet I still felt extremely tired this morning. Well, not maybe not extremely tired, but pretty tired this morning. And throughout this entire day, I've just been feeling, I don't know, just like I'd rather be asleep or something. I don't know. It might be a low energy level. It might be low. I don't know. I really don't have a clue. I do know my foot, my shoe scraped up against the back of my foot a couple of days ago, and the scab that it made is just so violent looking, and it feels extremely painful quite a good bit at the time. And I'm kind of just hoping it's going to heal now. Again, won't show it on this video, but you get the message. When you have this perpetual pain, and my pain tolerance is pretty high, and I can easily deal with that pain over the course of an hour. But when it's taking up this part in my mind, the pain is just kind of sitting there like a stone in one crevice of my mind. It weighs down on my energy significantly over the course of the whole day, as does the psychological pain of cold calling, and even the thought of doing it tomorrow is just for bringing my mood down again, to be honest. But it has to be done. Meetings have to be booked, and those meetings have to be converted, whichever ones can be, because again, there's some people that can't really be converted. The guy I had yesterday, I was so good on the call, not to be cocky or anything, but I surprised myself with my high energy levels and my enthusiasm, my ability to go so quickly, smoothly through the process without saying or anything like that. It was just a very redeeming experience for me, and I didn't actually get to sign him because he didn't need it, but I was still very proud of myself. And I sort of signed the person today, but I didn't literally sign them. I just got them on board, so they're not actually going to have any excuse to avoid me or ghost me. He did say on the call, one of his objections was, "Okay, I'll think about it, and I'll get back to you in the next few days." And I said, "Oh, okay, I understand you need to think about it. It's a pretty big decision you need to make, but usually when people say that they think about it, and I'm not saying this about you, but when people say they think about it, it usually means that the process is just never going to get started. Can I just ask you, for the sake of both our times, what it is exactly you need to think about?" And then he just went in then to talk about the Google Ads budget, and then my mind just clicked, like that was it. That was the objection all along. It revealed itself. Like, I got to the core of the issue after one question. Honestly, I'm pretty proud of myself for that. It wasn't a very difficult call. He wasn't very difficult. He was pretty easygoing. He understood my processes pretty well. I feel like I am quite articulate on over the computer, just on an objective level. I'm not saying I'm great at sales or anything. I just display what I need to display pretty well. I'm working with a very good offer. I'm working with a very good niche. I picked my tools wisely, and I'm using them properly. That's all I am. I'm just a soldier with a finely crafted sword and a finely crafted shield, and I'm a diligent soldier, and I'm no lord yet, like one of those famous SMMA YouTubers who are making like 10-20 grand a month. But that's the point. Isn't that I'm super good at what I do, or I'm super good at sales or service delivery. It's the fact that I show up every day and I keep doing it over and over. I'm willing to actually put my time and effort into learning how to do this, and I'm willing to suffer, most importantly. If you're not willing to suffer, then you're not going to actually get any clients or any meetings. And I've done a crap ton of suffering, more than I've ever done in my life over these last 3 months, and let me tell you, it's not 1% of the suffering I'm going to be going through in my life, because a bit of a flu there, well, not flu, but flu symptoms. I don't know. Sometimes I have a flu which lasts a week. Sometimes I have flu symptoms, but not the whole flu, which lasts about 2 months, and it's just weird. Anyway, what was I talking about? So yeah, it's just the fact you show up every day and you do the work when you need to, even when you don't really want to. And again, I spoke about myself and my experience of doing work, and how it generally feels like I'm taking an almighty effort to get up every single morning. Like, I just every single twitch of the universe, every fiber of my soul is resisting me getting up in the morning. It's pulling me back down into bed, pulling me back down into sleep, away from reality, and it's just a quite a horrible nihilistic experience, because it just really, it drains your energy and you just don't feel any redemption whatsoever. Even if you do succeed, I don't know, I'm not feeling that much redemption even from getting that guy on board. I don't know, maybe I subconsciously know that he may have felt like I twisted his arm, but I didn't twist his arm. Like, I convinced him with logic, and I just said that I was pretty good at what I do, and I know all the theory of Google Ads, and I should be able to get him results. And with the automated software, go high level, I'll be able to do that as well. Like, I'm not some kind of sleazy salesman who just manipulates people. I'm a person who tries to communicate value and is willing to go through nightmarish torture to get there. So, in the meantime, I'm just going to think of other things to talk about today. My family is gone on holiday, well, most of them, for the next week. Therefore, I'm basically going to have the house to myself, or one other person is in here. It'll just be a lot nicer because there's going to be less distractions, less people listening in onto me. Now, I might use this segment of the video to start talking about who you should surround yourself with more so. Because if you have a group of friends who are weighing you down and who are doing bad stuff, then you're going to do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter how much better than them you think you are. The law of the resistance to change would state that humans just avoid pain naturally, and if you avoid pain, you're not going to grow. And therefore, if there's one person at a higher level than their friend, and the two of them mingle together all the time, that friend isn't going to necessarily raise to the level of that friend. It's more so like the person who's higher is going to drop to the level of the friend who's lower, because it's just human nature, right? Like, you, unless you're completely controlling your growth, you're not going to raise someone else to the level of you, unless you have a really strong commitment and bond and sort of reasoning why they should be doing that. They probably avoid you, to be honest, because they don't want to hear the truth that they could be better than they are, and they're just making excuses for it. But you need to be able to tell them that, look, we need to discuss your life seriously. I need you to be better, so I don't get dragged down to your level. Maybe don't say it that brusquely, but you know what I mean. You just encourage them. Just be, because if you're friends with people who are just drinking alcohol and playing video games all day, then guess where you're going to be in 3 months? It's not going to be much different. At the moment, for me in particular, while I'm doing sales calls and cold calls all day, I'm not talking to anyone in particular. People will call it a monk mode, but I don't know, I think that term is kind of cringe and has lost its meaning by this point. But I suppose it will be a monk mode because I'm not doing anything that's supposedly fun. I haven't went out to a nightclub in like a year, and that was like the one time I ever did go out. I haven't met with friends in like 2 months, which isn't necessarily a good thing, but it's not necessarily a bad thing either. So people might call me some kind of social outcast or some asocial person, and some even more brutal people might call me a loser, but you know, I don't really care because I'm working every second of my life towards something that's going to have an amazing positive output on my well-being and my social character. I'm going to be financially free this time in a year, and that way I'm just not going to have to worry about the things that people normally have to worry about. Like, I'll have a good life, and then I'll actually be able to sort of enjoy myself. And I'm not saying that I can't enjoy myself now and I can't enjoy the grind, but it takes a while for the feedback loop to kick in. And when I've done this client and I've actually gotten 10% of the sales that I make for them, then that will genuinely, that will probably make me happier because I'm making my own money by then, and I'll be in a much safer, more secure financial position. Like, it's just security. You know, people preach security all the time through jobs and the financial slow lane, the millionaire slow lane, but when you're going that route, it actually ends up being more risky to do that than just start a business, because when you do that, you're you're vulnerable and you're at the mercy of the whims of Wall Street and bloody recessions, and it's not really as secure as you might think. You might think investing in your 401k is going to be very safe and secure, and having good employee benefits will be good. But then what if your company shuts down? That's like you and 1,000 other workers put out the gate in a moment. It doesn't get much simpler than that when you think about it. Whereas if you own your own business, you have more control, you have more leverage, you you actually fulfill more of a need, and you get paid more, which is the most important thing. It's just money, 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 money. People say, "Oh, I don't need money to be happy." No, you just don't want the pain of actually getting money and then seeing for yourself if it makes you happy or not. It's amazing. We're told all these stories about how money is such an evil thing and how we just need to actually be happy with our lives. But how many of these people have actually become millionaires? Like, what millionaire has ever told you money doesn't make me happy? I've never heard that in my life off a millionaire. So I'll test it out for myself and I'll get back to you.